Well, it all stems back to Lord of the Rings. Like, without Lord of the Rings, Dungeons & Dragons probably doesn't exist in the same realm of what it is today.
Right. How much did D&D play a factor in video games? Because if you think about it,
I think
if you think about video games, like it really is just a virtual version of
like an RPGs.
RPGs, yeah.
I think it all stems back to Lord of the Rings.
Sure.
Like, without Lord of the Rings, Dungeons & Dragons probably doesn't exist in the same realm of what it is today.
Right.
Like, they originally tried to use the term Hobbit. They were like, you can't use the term Hobbit, so they changed it to Halfling.
Yeah.
Like, D&D they wanted to be Lord of the Rings.
Oh, for sure.
Now, when it comes to RPGs, I mean, it had to have had a ton of influence.
Yeah,
on
I would think
just
so.
The classes in general.
I would think so.
I mean,
well, but I think even if you look at like, take Call of Duty. If you're playing the campaign version,
right,
which goes back to, I'm sure D&D always had campaigns, or I don't know if that was the terminology or not, but like
when it first started, like when D&D was first going, it wasn't as well. I'm sure some people
called it a campaign, but it was more of a book.
It wasn't. It wasn't really story based.
Oh, okay.
And so you would have.
It was skirmish. It was more of just like skirmish.
No,
or was
you would have one character, but like you would go to a town and there would be a dungeon, and you'd need to clear the dungeon or something. Like there wasn't a ton of story that kind of tied all into one big story arc.
So the campaign came in later on, like that. That was more of 100%. Like a.
And the way it worked was, it was more of a, I don't want to say treasure hunting game, but it was like the whole idea of the game was to go kill things in the dungeon to get gold pieces, but could gold pieces equal experience points?
Gotcha.
So every gold piece you got was one experience point,
adventure-based.
and that's how you leveled.
Right.
But it wasn't even adventure-based in the sense of like how it is now. It was like you go into a dungeon with 40 rooms, and in every room is something totally different.
Gotcha.
Where now when you create a dungeon, if it's like this dungeon is inhabited by orcs, and it doesn't make sense for there to be bears in a room.
Sure.
Unless the orcs are doing something with the bears.
Sure.
Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
And everybody at the table would be like, wait, why are there gnolls in this room?
Right.
And I went down 5 other rooms and there's orcs. And then I went down like 6 rooms in a big cave, there's a dragon.
Right.
But back then that's what it was. It was just these totally just random, it just felt so random. And it was so much more deadly.
Well, here's what I see. Like if I look at something like Call of Duty, and you're not playing live online, right? You have a health meter, just like we have hit points. The further you go, the more experience you get. Right. You get experience points. It's not the same, but level up versus and level up with that. You have actions that you can do. You can try to hide. You can try to whatever. Yep. Very much like D&D. Right. You can attack. When you attack, that thing loses some of its health. Yeah. Doesn't, not all the way.
I mean, I would think then.
Same with you. They can also attack you. If they hit you, you lose some of your health. Like some of that comes down. So like it's very much like then you have to go talk to this person. And they give you directions about what to do and where to go.
A quest or whatever.
Or like, oh yeah, we've been fighting off this whatever. It's you need to go tell so-and-so, whatever. Right. It's role play. Yeah. It's just built in. Same thing. Yeah. And so it's very much
it's just
like
not nerdy because it's guns, bro. Yeah.
But so when you kind of compare the two, it would almost be hard for me to think like it didn't spawn from that. I
mean, I would think it would have to a little bit because like
think about who was creating that stuff back in the day. Like the nerds were probably playing D&D and trying to figure out a way to do this like on a console.
Right. Like the original on NES, the original Final Fantasy game was very Dungeons & Dragons. Yeah. It was not like the more futuristic Final Fantasies that came way after it. It was, you had 4 characters. You could pick between a fighter, a thief, a red mage, a white mage, a black mage. They called it a black belt, which was kind of like a ninja-y character. I think there was one other one. That may have been it.
Very roguey.
Very roguey. But the thief was like the rogue.
Yeah.
And you partied up and you went around and you got spells and you got weapons and armor and all that stuff and you just leveled up. And I've still, to this day, will play it every once in a while, like on my computer.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's D&D. Like you would fight ogres and imps and dragons and all these different things. And you'd fight liches, like all the different things. And you would go into dungeons.
See, that's what, and that's why I say,
D&D.
I don't know. I don't.
But it can't not have.
Right.
Right.
You would think it had to have some
It had to have been a huge influence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's basically what it is. And so like, if I ever have people that are like, oh, I've never, like, I don't even know, I've heard of it, I don't even know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was like, it's basically a video game you do on paper.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of the same thing. And they're like, oh, okay. And I was like, so instead of like, I hit A and it does that thing, I roll a dice to see if that thing actually happens or not.
Right.
Like,
the thing, I remember being at Overton and two of the offensive linemen were with Brown.
Yeah.
And he was telling them that we played. And one of them has now signed with the Carolina Panthers. Yeah. Steven.
It's crazy.
Yep. And they were like, oh, it's kind of nerdy, like whatever. Like they were like, what is what is it? And I was like, all right, let's pretend like you can cast spells and you're a fighter. And they were like, okay. And I'm like, you're in a tavern. And they were like, okay. And I'm like, you're just sitting there enjoying a drink, maybe eating a bowl of soup or something, just hanging out. And I was like, both of y'all roll a perception check to determine, what y'all are noticing, what y'all are seeing. And I was like, you roll a 7 because you're just loving your soup. And you rolled a 15. You start to smell smoke. What are you doing? And he was like, I don't know. And I was like, what are you doing? You smelling smoke? And he goes, well, like, I'm gonna like look and see where I smell it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, are you getting up? Are you gonna go look out the window? Are you going out the front door? He's like, I'm gonna go out the front door. I was like, are you sure you wanna go out the front door? If you smell smoke, is there something bad going on? He was like, I don't know what I'm doing, man. He was like, hold on. And I was like, what are you doing? I was like, now you're starting to see flames. I was like, what are you doing? And I was like, and you rolled a higher perception check and you hear something outside. It doesn't sound human. And they were like, what do we do? Well, they were both freaking out. And I was like, that's D&D. And they were like, we want to play now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I was like, because now you get to do whatever you want. You can go out the window if you want to go out the window. You can bust through the door. You can try to bust through go up the chimney. Like, what do you want to do? How do you want to get out? Do you want to sneak out? Do you just want to bust out? Do you want to hold up in your shield? What do you want to do? Yeah.
So. Love it.